Well, this is crazy, people. Aha, you got that crazy. Now let's go. Firstly, how is chemistry useful? Why is water called hydrogen oxide? Well, that's for philosophers to answer. But currently, all you need to know is why chemistry is useful. Now, chemistry is useful because of lots of different reasons. One, carbon chemistry is the chemistry of life, and how it creates life is used in carbon, and lots of other mixtures too, mostly hydrogen and oxygen. But the thing is, carbon chemistry is useful for us to find out how old things is, and it's not only that, it also finds out how old this plastic is and how old dinosaur remains are, and that's pretty much how we figured out everything. It also tells us loads of things too, and it's also useful because without chemistry, the loads of things wouldn't work, would not be explained, and we curious humans are all like, why? We know how. In our old days, it wasn't important to know why, but nowadays, if we want new technology and new things, then at our disposal, then we need to know why things are like this. Personally, lots of regular people don't really need to know why. However, lots of other people, like scientists, physicists, and professors, need to know a little bit of physics. Not a little bit, a lot of physics, because they're the ones who figure out about other physics and chemistry too. Speaking of chemistry, back to chemistry. Carbon chemistry, as I was speaking about, is about life chemistry, and how it works is like also radiocarbon dating. That works out too, and loads of other things seems to work out even more. And then we have to talk about metals. Metals are useful for their own properties. One, they don't break, or they're not brittle. Two, they're shiny, which makes them look precious. My precious. And three, they're also malleable, meaning they can be bent without breaking. And four, they conduct electricity and heat well, which is good because we're gonna create computers. But sometimes you don't want a really, really good metal because then that will make your computer freaking explode and be very, very big. And so we found out about these things called metalloids, which are like weaker versions of metals, but are really useful because we need a weaker version of a conductor because, yeah, we want to make them smaller, but if you make conductors smaller with the same amount of energy, then they'll freaking explode. Yes, that's why some phones explode when you play games on there too much. And now the next thing is about using gases. Now, you're going to have to use gases themselves. Gases are useful for loads of different reasons. One, you can use them for atmospheric pressure and to press down on you. And then the second reason is how it's useful for us. We use gases to be breathing, to prevent asthma, and to save lives. Yeah, save lives. What about non-metals like carbon or ink? Well, those metals, plastics, all that, aren't conductors of energy. Yes, they can break. Also, I can crush this really easily. It won't break that much. I mean, you can break these really, really easily. However, metals are even harder to bend. You probably need to be a weightlifter to be able to break these things. And that's really useful too sometimes. Carbons is one exception on what we can use to conduct electricity. Carbon is not a metalloid or a metal, but it is a good conductor of electricity and heat, which is why it's so cold. It's the only exception of non-metal. It's the only exception that of the non-metals and of the fact that non-metals cannot conduct electricity. And the thing is, it's a really good exception too, because it's abundant, it's everywhere. Coal exists, and coal is basically charcoal, and charcoal is basically carbon. And that's it. That's pretty much it. And chemical curiosities. Another reason why chemistry is an important subject is because of our curious minds. Our minds will not let us let something go because we've not been built for this. We've not been built for thinking. We've been developing this because of how we're going to use our hands and stuff, and yeah. But nowadays, we've always been using sharp sticks and big bombs. Nowadays, sharp sticks and big bombs became atomic weapons and nuclear energy, and our brains developed a lot, we started having to use these items less and started making machines that will let other things do it for us. That's pretty much physics. But in chemicals, chemistries, it makes it more efficient too. And lots of people just stereotypically think that chemistry is all like, mix this, boom. However, it's more than that. And the thing is, this thing works out with chemistry too. These are actually heater bags, but I'm using them for protection. Yeah! But the thing is, heat is useful too. And we're going to talk about this in another episode, and we're going to talk about heat. And heat is good for us because we need to be warm. And we used this curious mind to make this. Also, don't actually hit me with this. This has electricity in it. It'll explode if you hit it too hard. And that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you guys soon. And until next time, Schneid out. Peace. In God! Bye. Boo.